What's up, guys? Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com. So do me a favor, check out this clip of me doing a concentration curl and see if you can spot what I'm doing wrong. Now, guys, if you're somebody that has watched my 24-second fix video, you might be thinking he's going too fast on the eccentric portion of the lift. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's actually not what it is. And some people might say, well, I've been following this channel long enough. I know Jeff doesn't even like the concentration curl. We're going to get to that in a minute. I'm talking about the curl itself. Can you spot what I'm doing wrong? Okay, so if you can't, guys, I'm going to show you what you need to do when you're doing concentration curls, if you're going to do them. Again, we're going to address that in a second. When we talk about the concentration curl, people will do exactly what I was showing you here. They'll curl here, and then down, and then they'll come up here, and then down. Now, the purpose of doing the concentration curl is what? People will argue that it's to get a complete contraction on the biceps, to feel the biceps contracting, to give you better mind-muscle connection if you have a problem with your biceps in that way. And a lot of people do, actually. So if that's the argument, I'm going to show you where some of the major flaws are with that. First of all, if they're doing them like this, which I see a lot of people do, that's a major mistake. Because the position of the elbow is the first thing we want to concentrate on. You can't be resting your elbow here on your thigh and going down like this. You literally are creating a seesaw effect. When the weight comes down this side, it almost springs the weight back up again. And a seesaw effect back and forth over the thigh. So whatever weight you think you're lifting here, you're actually lifting a lot less because of that mechanical advantage. Speaking of mechanical advantages, if you're going to do it the proper way you think, you're going to take your elbow, you're going to put it on the inside of your leg. You know better. You're not going to rest it on top. So you know better. You put it right here. And now you start curling. I'm going to raise my arm up here so you can see something very important. They're going to do this. Now, the reason why that's a problem, firstly, is because they're actually now taking that elbow and they're using it for leverage. The elbow is actually pushing into the thigh. And by pushing into the thigh, it's giving me leverage to lift this weight. Now, if you don't believe that's actually happening, all you have to do is look at the involvement here of the side and front delt when I get to the hardest part in the range of motion here, which is the midpoint. Why does that happen? Because when it's its most difficult, which is right here, then my delt has to sort of kick in to help me to push this up, right? The delts are pushing or becoming active because I'm pushing my arm into an immovable object, which is my leg, and that's helping to then get some leverage in the opposite direction. It's the same concept as when we're doing a lat pull down and you're pulling down but pulling up with your legs, right? Pull your legs up into the seat and pull down. That's good because you're using your legs for a muscle group up in your upper body. But when we're using leverage here of a muscle that's right here and oftentimes too involved in a curl, that becomes a problem, right? They're right next to each other. So it's a different scenario than that lat pull down. So then what you would say is, well, then I can't do that. I got to get my elbow off of my thigh, put the back of my arm, the tricep up here against the inside of the thigh, and then curl from there. And now I'm doing the right thing. But we got to go back to what we said in the beginning. What was the purpose? To get a complete bicep contraction and to have the most tension in that contracted state. Well, if you get the elbow flexion and you get the supination here, and you come to the top, look at the dumbbell is actually this line here, this forearm is almost parallel with the downward force of gravity that's acting on this dumbbell. Meaning I could get it if I got completely parallel, I could stay here for a very long period of time. So even though I'm in a more contracted state of the biceps, I don't have as much tension here because, again, the forces are parallel to each other. The forearm here and the force of gravity coming straight down. So what we want to do is we want to have it that when we're in this fully contracted state, that we have the gravity acting as much down on a perpendicular forearm as possible. And we can do that by changing where we put our arm. So instead of having it down on the thigh here, I'm going to tell you right out, you got to take your junk, move it a little bit this way, guys, okay? So that you can clear some room right down in the middle. Really in this really high up inner groin area. So again, whatever you got to do that, Jesse he just blows and it all goes over that way. Some guys have to forcefully move a little bit more. Whatever you have to do, take care of it and then put your arm right here deep inside your groin. So now when I curl up and I go to complete contraction here, Jesse, come around this side actually. You can see that the angle is a lot less vertical and more horizontal, which is more towards allowing the dumbbell to be acted upon by gravity. but I can do better than that, because if I take it from here, and I know I got to get it a little bit more parallel to the ground, I just lean forward a little bit more. And now I have complete elbow flexion and complete supination here, and I can really, really, really feel this thing a lot more than I could. And I've minimized even the contribution there of that delt, even though it's always going to pop out, because I'm, again, using the back of my arm here, not the point of my elbow to drive in. Now, let's go to the people that say, Jeff, I remember you said you didn't like the concentration curl. It wasn't the best thing to do. No, for a few reasons. Number one, I like more athletic exercises at any opportunity I can. We train athletes here, so I try to get more athletic, which means if I can be on my feet, I like that better. But more importantly, if you're going to go for a complete contraction of the biceps, where was the flexion of the shoulder? Because we know by virtue of the connection of the long head of the biceps past the shoulder joint to the upper portion of our glenohumeral joint here, we have room for shoulder flexion here it has to be part of the complete contraction. So I want my arms up, and if we're down here, we're not getting that. So what I opt for, whether you do it with a cable machine or whether you do it with bands, is something that gets your arms up into this position, allows for the supination, allows for the elbow flexion. So we do this. We come here, and we curl up and in this way. And I've demonstrated variations of this before, but you can see that now I've got all three components. I got the flexion, the supination, and then the shoulder flexion as well. Okay, so I really can get a complete bicep contraction. I can feel this thing balling up on me. You want to make this cooler? You do this. You come up here. Why is it athletic? The only thing holding me in this position is the strength of my posterior chain, my glutes, my low back. Because if I let go, my whole body wants to fold that way. So all the muscles on the posterior chain have to contract here to allow me to be in this position here. If you want to overload it from here, you step back and you step back. You come in and you come in and down. Pull it up, back, back, nice and tight on the lower half, and in. Up, back, back, in, and in. One more time. Up, back, and again, you get this isometric component in the middle by prolonging it with the stepping. So, guys, it's important to put the science into what you do in the weight room because it matters. If you're going for that intended purpose of trying to get the full contraction, that's what you're going to use to activate your biceps, whatever the reason why, that could be a good, valid reason, but if you're not backing it up with the true science, it's not going to matter. Here we just did that, and again, if you want to make the tweak over there, you could do it there too. The position of your arm matters, just like everything else, guys. We put out a step-by-step program where I pay a close attention to detail on everything we do in every workout and every exercise. I think that's what gives us the advantage and makes our programs as effective as they are. They're all available over at ATHLEAN-X.com. You can get yours today. In the meantime, if you found the video helpful, leave your comments and thumbs up below. Let me know what you want me to cover in a future video, and I'll do that for you. No doubt about it, guys. I'm always glad to read your comments and suggestions below. All right, see you soon.